Okay, we are back. I want to take this opportunity to thank everyone that has subscribed and downloaded this podcast. It comes out every Tuesday. Yep, weekly. We are doing our thing. Absolutely. No, really, I appreciate it. Make sure you share the Street Report podcast with all of your friends. As you can see, we are all over the place. A little bit of this, a little bit of that, but we having fun with it all the time. On today's edition of the Street Report, I ran into my good friend, Pastor Keith Battle over at Zion has written another book, SIDE Chickology, Why Men and Women Cheat. Oh man, this is something special.
There's a chapter in there called The Call, the phone call. And the call is when a woman calls a wife and says, my name is blank, and I've been in a relationship with your husband for the last 16 months or last 4 years.
The moment of fear.
Right? And then she says, who are you? Well, I'm not going to tell you who I am. That's why I blocked my number. I don't want to talk to you anymore. I just want you to know who you're dealing with. He's not right. He promised me he was going to leave you. I don't believe you. Who is this? Who is this? And then she starts telling personal stuff. Did you have your ovaries removed 2 years ago? When your mother died, has your sister been suicidal? She starts revealing this deeply personal stuff.
How do you know this stuff, girl?
Because he was
Who is this?
Because he was telling her all of that to get sympathy so he can get the draw.
Now, there are a lot of other books out on the market that have tried to address this issue, but there's nothing out there that's addressing it like this book here. Trust me when I tell you that, okay? He talks about the how, the why, both sides. But one thing that I like about this book is it's not too churchy. And what I mean by that is this. If you're not Christian, if you're not going to church, that's okay. This is still the book for you. If you're all about relationships, and relationships are everything, you want to have good, healthy relationships, well, each of us has to do our own personal work. There is no getting around this at all. But oh yeah, the book is titled SIDE Chickology, but it's not just all about the side chicks. There's some side slicks out there too.
Hi, my name is Keith Battle. I'm the author of the book SIDE Chickology, Why Men and Women Cheat, pastor of Zion Church here in the DMV area, and excited to be here. I'm married for 30 years, and I am on the Street Report.
You gonna learn today.
1, 2, 3, let's go.
Are you ready?
This ain't the radio.
Are you ready?
Let's go.
The Street Report Podcast.
He raps for the DMV to the fullest.
Hosted by Easy.
Mr. President.
It is great to talk to you.
Raw and uncut.
Holla at your boys, it's Jay-Z.
DJ Khaled.
What up, though? It's your boy, Big Snoop, Double G. Rocking out with my nephew, Easy Street.
Easy Street.
The Street Report Podcast, hosted by Easy.
Make sure you subscribe to the Street Report wherever you listen to podcasts, whether it be on iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, SoundCloud, YouTube, Stitcher. Please hit that button and subscribe. I'll be dropping a brand new podcast every week. You might want to turn on your notifications. Also follow at Easy Street on Twitter and Instagram. The official website for the Street Report is easystreetshow.com. SIDE Chickology.
Yes, sir.
Why Men and Women Cheat, Understanding, Avoiding, and Recovering from Infidelity.
All that.
How you doing, Pastor Battle?
I'm good. I'm
Good to
great.
see you, man.
I'm great. Good to be seen.
Yeah.
Good to see you too, man.
Now, this is your second book?
Yeah.
Okay, of course, we talked when you did A Second Chance, Grace for the Broken as well.
That was in 2015.
Yes.
Yeah, it's been a while.
And this is number 2.
Dose.
Why did you decide to talk about this?
Man, I don't write about anything I haven't lived. So that's one. Mm-hmm. Secondly, it is a terribly pervasive problem. Infidelity, unfaithfulness. People cheat. People get cheated on. People are hurt by it in all kinds of relationships, committed relationships, marriages, girlfriend-boyfriend relationships, significant others. And what I started noticing was that there's a pattern of infidelity, that there's signs that can reveal when somebody's about to creep. And what are the things that feed it? Because a lot of people go into committed relationships not with the intention of being unfaithful. They fall in love with somebody and believe this is the one, right? I'm all in. But then there's a series of events that take place that cause people to drift apart. And then they end up drifting oftentimes into other relationships. Sometimes those relationships are with work. Sometimes it's with a casino. Sometimes it's with a golf course.
You said a casino.
Yeah. Some people have relationships with casinos.
Oh my goodness.
Oh yeah, for sure. People are looking for something to give them outlets, enjoy, and they can become addictions and unhealthy habits. Some people have a relationship with the gym, sports. So I think a lot of times those things they become ways of avoiding the relationship, the pain of the relationship. So a person might go to the club, strip club, or the casino just to avoid going home. Like, I'd rather sit here at the crap table, at the slot machines, or smoking cigars. Anything would go home. You know, there's a saying where happy hour, I don't know if you know the inside or the joke about what happy hour, how it came about. That happy hour is that 1 hour that I'm happy between a job that I don't like and a home I don't want to go to.
Wow.
I'm
going to remember that one.
Yeah. So people tend to connect with things that avoid. So I wanted to write about something with transparency. So the book is real raw. It's humorous but serious. It's balanced. It's for singles and women and married people. It's for men and women. I got a different team. I had a team of people to help bring balance to it because I didn't want to just be a left brain black man book because I wrote it from my perspective. But then when I had people read it before I finalized it, I had some white women, I had some black women, I had people who didn't even come from a faith space give their input, and it really shocked me that my views were left brain. Like, but you need to speak to this side. It wasn't that what I was saying wasn't true. It was limited. And what they did, they expanded my conversation to the subject. Well, you got to talk about men too. So it's why men and women cheat. Even though it's called SIDE CHICKOLOgy, there's also SIDE SLICKs out here too.
Okay.
Yeah. So if it's a heterosexual affair, then it's both side chicks and side slicks.
Yeah, we're going to get into that too because, you know, it's very fascinating that you bring that up because I was on Instagram Live the other day.
Okay.
I'm not going to say her name, but I was just checking out the sister's live feed. Okay. She has a little business. She came on there, was talking about, you know, her girlfriends and I don't date men no more because all the men hurt me. And so, you know me, I started going into interview mode, started asking questions. Really?
Yeah.
I was like, so you don't think that women that are with women cheat on other women?
Sure they do.
Absolutely. So we gonna hold that for that's a tease right there. That is a tease. So, Pastor, what qualifies you to write this book? Because I read in your bio that you sent over with the book about, you know, personal stuff that you talk about in this book as well.
Mm-hmm. Sure. So I'm qualified because I've been unfaithful, and I've seen how to avoid staying in that world or to recover from it. I've seen my marriage bounce back and be stronger than it's ever been, and seen actually infidelity become a catalyst to actually bring about the kind of work on the marriage that we would have never reached this level of strength in our marriage had it not been for that kind of tragic explosion of infidelity. I've also been in counseling and in ministry for over 30 years. So since 1984, I've been in church leadership. So I've been around couples. I've seen it over and over again. I've seen the patterns, and I've seen the tools that work that can help people with this issue. And I've seen people use them that have had dynamic success, and I've seen people who don't use them, who continue to spiral out of control into addictions to pornography, into one affair after another. And so it's that's what gives me the credibility to speak as a subject matter expert on it. I know this stuff. I know relationships. I know it's just something I'm very comfortable with, something I have an experience with. And I tend to talk about it in a way that most people in ministry don't talk about it, you know, because a lot of people in church aren't willing to have candid conversations about this topic. We kind of talk around it and leave generalities out there for people to interpret, but nobody's digging into saying the raw stuff. Like this is what this is. This is what this is, and this is how you fix this. And I think that's very important, because one of the challenges with infidelity is the quality of the marriages are not exciting. Marriages aren't even fun. A lot of people ain't even having fun in their marriage. They had all this fun while they were dating. and then they get married, and the marriage is boring as the day is long. And they almost feel like we got married to become a partnership. So now they run their house. It's like a company. It's like a company, a business. So this person drops off, they pick up, you pay the light bill, I pay the car notes, I pay the phone bill. Like, it's like a corporation. But when we met, it was flowers, it was notes, it was texts, it was conversations, it was walking down the park, it was going to concerts and trips together. Now it's Johnson & Johnson. It's a company. And that's not going to work because there's still a romantic part of us that wants to be relational and intimate with somebody.
Yeah, where is the excitement? What happened to the excitement that we had?
Remember the song, Where is the Love?
Right.
Yeah, where's the love?
All gone.
It evaporated in atrophy, which is a natural progression in relationships. Relationships by nature atrophy over time because people usually don't do the things they did to start the relationship to maintain them.
Right. We're talking about the actual work here.
Absolutely.
Why is it we become lazy after we get what we want?
Absolutely. It's just like I say it all the time. It's just like for men, I know, because I've never been a woman, but I know for a man, think about this. Whenever we catch something, let's say it's a car we want, right? Man, I want that 2019 blah, 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 blah. I want it red. I want the seats leather. I want blah, blah, blah. We look at pictures of it. We go online. We compare prices. Oh, it's one in New York. It's one in, we test drive it. It's all that, right? Get the car. There's no more research on it. There's no more, we like it because we wanted it. But it's not till I'll give it 18 months before it's lost its kind of appeal. It's just, other people might like it. Other people might say, wow, that's a nice whip right there. It's a burden to us because we've taken it into service a couple of times. The electronics in the car aren't working. The seat warmer was off. Then there's problems, right? We just don't put the same energy into things that we've acquired that we do into the things that we're trying to acquire. That's a natural thing. Well, a woman is just, if you treat a woman like the special car you got, man, when we saw her, we're like, I got to get that. I got to get that. I got to get her. I got to get her number. I got to get all that.
But this goes both ways now.
Absolutely.
This goes both ways. And we're going to talk about that. We're here with Pastor Keith Battle. He's got a brand new book called SIDE CHICKOLOGY, Why Men and Women Cheat, Understanding and Avoiding and Recovering from Infidelity. This is his second book. I'm pretty sure this book is available at Amazon and wherever you buy books, correct?
Yes.
Okay,
absolutely.
so now let's go ahead and talk about the ladies. Now, it's just me and you on the podcast and your daughter right there. We don't have no other women, and I'm pretty sure that women are listening to this.
For sure.
Where is Easy going with this?
Yeah.
Like this.
I don't know where Easy going with it.
Okay.
So
we first met, you used to cook for me. Now you married me. Now you too busy.
Right.
Is this what we're talking about too? Because it goes both ways.
That's a good point. Because I've never been a woman, I never thought of it through that lens. I've always taken responsibility for where my atrophy took place. But that's got to be the case. Why were you cooking for me when we were dating? Why were you having me over for dinner? And not just cooking. I'm talking about setting the table.
Right.
I'm talking about the silverware out, the stuff matching, the 2 forks. Because here come dessert. Oh, baby, I'm not done. I'm not done.
Even the sex too now.
Come on.
Even the sex too.
Even the sex when we weren't really supposed to be having
we
it was better.
We was in the car.
Come
we
on,
was in
anywhere,
the
anytime, right?
Yes.
You need something?
Yeah.
What do you need?
Right.
Right? Now we're a burden.
The sexting was off. The texting was all off
tired.
too.
I'm tired. You have sex when you're dating 1:30 in the morning, half sleep. Right. But now at 9 o'clock, you know I gotta get up in the morning. I gotta go to work. Yeah. How do we
talk about that in the book?
Not no specific words, but yes. Relational atrophy, I call it ADD in the book. It's called relational ADD. Okay. And ADD we know is attention deficit disorder, right? And in the mental health world, it's when somebody has a difficulty focusing. In relational ADD, which is a concept that I came up with, is when a person feels like they're not paid attention, they're not valued, they're not treasured. And whenever I experience relational ADD, I'm looking for that attention somewhere else. I might get it from my job. They give me overtime, they give me bonuses, they give me trips, they give me, perks. So we look for it in other places. Women tend to look for it in their children Because there used to be a picture up on the mantle, a picture up on the cubicle of her and her husband. But now those pictures have been replaced because the marriage is so painful, and it's a picture of her little 4-year-old that says, "Hi, mommy," and the 8-year-old who's got all A's. And so she gains her self-worth and value from how well my kids are doing. So they throw their life into their children, and got them in piano, and got them in soccer, and got them in football. But it's all an attempt to find something that brings me a sense of value and worth. Because the marriage, which was once a dating relationship, which once fed me, which once filled me, is just as empty as the day is long, as I said before. And I think once people are woke to that, I think that concept in the book and how we unpack that is just as important as anything else I say. Because people first need to understand this is how this thing happens. Because there's always another woman who will cook for you.
Oh, absolutely.
You understand, right?
Or do things that you won't do.
Exactly. Yeah, somebody will do what you're not willing to do, and that's always a possibility. So and guess what? There's some man who will celebrate the beauty of your wife or your lady when you won't. And some man say, "Wow, you look so good. That color looks so good on you." Well, the husband's not saying anything. He's just saying, Did you pay the light bill like I told you? Did you put that stuff in the mail? How come this kitchen's looking like this? But the man at work is saying, "Wow."
And he's doing this and saying this every day.
Come on.
He's saying this to your wife or your girlfriend
Every day.
every day.
Absolutely. You know what else he's saying?
And after a while, you know what happens.
You know what happens? Because
You know what happens after a while.
Man, your husband sure is lucky. Right?
Yeah.
Well, because women open up to an affair emotionally first. It's not, they don't mean to go and sleep with him. It's just like, he makes me feel so
emotional cheating.
Yes. It's the opposite of what she's getting from home. You mean he doesn't, you're, oh my God, I wish my wife were like you. I go through it. So here's the key to the book, right? In the book, because I know I'm gonna have guys reading it who just ADD, they can't focus on the book and just dealing with principles and lessons and how-tos, etc. So I actually thread the book with a story of an affair. It's a couple in the book that I'm following their journey, how he plays tennis with her. He's kind of, so you know, in tennis, there's a serve and there's a volley. And if you hit the ball soft enough, you know somebody can hit it back. So there's certain things that we'll say to start the conversation, to move. It's called grooming. In the world of sexual predators, it's called grooming.
Oh yeah, do we want to bring? No, we don't want to bring R. Kelly into this.
Right,
but he did that though.
So grooming, but see, there's a grown-up version of grooming. When you're grooming somebody who's an adult, you're not trying to take advantage of a child. But if you're trying to hit on a woman, it's calculated. So you'll say it in a way that it can go either way. Like if she's not interested, it kind of blew off, or you can back up and say, "No, I wasn't trying to be.
I was just joking, girl."
Right. But if she plays with, and she sends the volley back, now you know you in, right? So we do that, follow that story throughout just the whole.
What is
from
that?
The start.
What is that? Is that
I call
baiting?
it tennis anyone.
Tennis anyone?
Well, that's what it's called. That's the chapter that is called, the sub-chapter is called tennis one. Absolutely, that's baiting. It's grooming. It's flirting.
Right.
It's the setup, right? So if I see somebody, and for a woman, it doesn't have to be a word. It can be a smile, right? It's a look of admiration, and we know that look as men, right? Don't we know it? Don't we know the difference between when one of them old sisters in the church is just proud of us because we finally got off drugs, and that sister that's looking at us and saying, we know the difference, right?
Hey, easy.
Yeah.
How you doing, Deacon?
Exactly, right? Totally. And guess what? They can say the same 3 words.
Why
right?
they always be like 70 years old though?
Right. That's not gonna work. But hey, just because it's snow on the roof don't mean it ain't fire in the furnace, right?
Hey, there you go, there.
Yeah. There's some cougars out there.
Yeah, you gotta be careful. To be careful.
So it's game on both sides.
Right.
It ain't just that's how it all happens. A woman will throw it at you and let you know.
Yeah, you can tell.
If you're interested, I'm here.
That can also happen with the technology that we have right here.
Oh my God, we ain't
via emojis.
Oh my God.
Oh, you giving me the kiss?
Come on.
You giving me the kiss emoji?
Come on.
You know, you smiling a lot. You sending me emojis.
Absolutely.
You may not be sending me the eggplant. But you sending me something that makes me feel like
what do you like that I post?
Right.
What do you like?
I'm glad you brought that up because social media is
how
part of
about
the
this?
problem too.
Just you looking good on a picture, you posted it nicer, and just the big eyes.
Right.
Just the two big eyes.
Yeah.
All of that's communicating.
Do you talk about that in the book too?
I don't get to the social media part
Okay.
of the book, yeah. But you know what? Then again, there is conversation about social media, but I think we're going deeper in this right now. But the whole point is that there's so many ways to set up. That's what I talk about in there. Paying attention to the patterns of infidelity. Because if I know where I'm going, I can self-correct. Because here's the thing. When it's infidelity, it may all seem well and good and fun. It's fun. It's kind of an energy to cheat.
Yeah, the adrenaline is rushing. Oh yeah.
You ever play hide and seek when you were little?
Oh, hide and go get it.
Hide and go seek, right?
Hide and go get it. That's
Hide and
what
go get it, right?
Yes.
So look, when you're hiding, think about when you're hiding, right? And somebody's counting to 10, and that energy you get knowing they ain't gonna never find me. That's an adrenaline rush. And let's say you're hiding with somebody. It's you and your buddy. And y'all so good, nobody can ever find y'all. They crying like, y'all come out, we give up, right? The energy you get from being so slick that nobody can find out what we're doing is the same adrenaline you get when you got a side chick and you got it on lock.
You know what? Or the same adrenaline that you would get if you did a line of cocaine or had a whole bunch of sugar too, because we're talking about the dopamine.
Absolutely.
Being,
that rush.
and that's part of it.
It's addictive.
I read this book called Every Man's Battle.
Yes. Stephen Arterburn.
Yes.
Yeah.
I read that book because, I want to be a good man.
Yeah.
I want to be married one day. I want to have a wife.
Yeah.
I want to be faithful. I need to learn how to keep my defenses up and, how to do the right thing by her, right?
Absolutely.
And I think that's something that brothers don't understand.
Yeah.
They don't understand that you got to slow this train down and you need to have a strategy on how you going to do this.
For sure.
So in the book, he talked about that, about how we also get addicted to the emotion of the cheating too. We get addicted to the feeling. We get addicted to the setup. We get addicted to how
the act.
The act, of course. But the act is just kind of like the dessert.
It's part of it, right? It's the setup. It's the cover up. It's the whole world. You can create another world that becomes your go-to when your reality is frustrating. You create a fantasy world that feeds your emotional emptiness, right? And that's an addictive space. It's hard to give that up. That's why we hide it. That's why we cover it up. That's why we don't want anybody to know about it, And but here's the final part of it that we get to in the book. We talked about the cost of it.
Ooh.
See, at the end of the cost, what does it cost? What are the costs of losing your integrity?
It costs you everything, bro. That's everything.
Can you imagine being an NFL owner and getting caught in a massage parlor now? What is the cost of that, right?
Wow.
What is the cost of being unfaithful when you're Tristan Thompson or whoever, and you gotta deal with an angry wife, a hurt wife? What's the cost of looking at your children and they see daddy walking out of the house? What is the cost of going to a sporting event with your new boo who you're in a relationship with, but her ex is at the relationship, so you say, well, you might want to sit down here because he don't like to see us together,
or all of them is here. About 5 different dudes.
Yeah, like what do you do when you're conflicted? What do you do when you're in a new family and the son bucks on you and say, you ain't my father? Like, we don't think through all of that. We just know we was digging on this person. And I'm saying there are consequences and costs that are never worth whatever satisfaction we got. And there's a quote in the book from Ravi Zacharias that says, sin will take you further than you want to go, cost you more than you want to pay, and keep you longer than you want to stay. And I'm saying the cost and consequences of unfaithfulness are much higher than the benefits. They really are. The guilt, the shame, all of those things.
But we don't think that deep into it. We just
not while we try and get it.
Oh no.
Nah.
We're just all caught up in the adrenaline rush, what we're feeling.
Yeah.
In
the moment.
Yeah.
Just like if you see dessert, like I did it today. If you see dessert, right? If you're a dessert guy and you like dessert, but you shouldn't. It's like when you eat, you want that cake. I won't get that. I'm getting that. Then afterwards, you feel like, dang, I shouldn't have did that. Now I got more fat to burn or whatever. It's similar. Sometimes what we see, we want it more than we can see past. What do I really want as a goal? What's my goal here? What's my objective? Because if I put my objective above my impulsivity, which is what feeds infidelity, impulsivity, it's a react. For men, we see it, we want it, got to get to it, trying to follow up on it. But can I see past it to the consequences? That can help me a great deal, knowing what I could end up experiencing as a result of crossing this line.
We're here with Pastor Keith Battle, author of the book SIDE CHICKOLOGY: Why Men and Women Cheat, Understanding, Avoiding, and Recovering from Infidelity. This book is available wherever you buy. Probably Amazon is a good look. And we're not going to give you the entire book because we want you to buy it and read into it and share it with your friends. But in this book, you'll discover why men and women cheat, how children completely change the dynamic of a relationship. Can we stop and park there for a minute?
Right in front of my child. Yeah, for sure.
You want to cover your ears?
Do.
But she's walking out now.
They do. She don't want to hear this. It's real. There's an energy that's required to raise children that you cannot just go and find somewhere. The same human being that has to give energy to her husband and to her career and to her own self now has to give energy to a child. And that can be in the middle of the night, every 2 hours, nursing the baby, colicky babies, changing diapers. The baby's wet, the baby's dry, the baby's upset, the baby's got the fever, ear infection, all of that. And then when you have multiple kids, some people have 2 or 3 children, wonder where the love went in the marriage. And I'm saying because when outsiders are looking, saying, y'all must be having a good time because they're having babies. But you don't even have to be close to have a baby. You just have to have sex. And the woman has to be ovulating at the time that the sperm hits. It's just, that's a timing issue. It could have been the one time you got in that month, but it doesn't mean the quality of the relationship is strong. And more often than not, the relationship atrophies when children come because there's a new energy and a new responsibility. And men usually feel second to the kids. Where he felt a priority before, now she sleeps with the kids when they're sick, and she's picking them up, and she's giving them baths, and she's helping them with homework, and they're crying, mommy, and she's too tired to give him love and attention, and he wants it, right? And he doesn't know how to get that back, and they don't use babysitters and family support. These children are so unique now that people don't want nobody around their kids, and nobody else can watch them, and they got all these allergies and everything. But I'll guarantee you that the couple is missing each other at the level that they were once connecting because the kids are demanding so much time and energy. And even though they're a blessing, they're also a burden and responsibility because they do mess up the flow of the relationship. So how do you get that flow back when you now got kids and schedules and demands? Is really challenging.
That plays a role too, because now if you're not able, because you're now spending time, you have to spend time with your children because
they won't survive without you.
They won't survive without you.
Absolutely.
But that takes away from time where you could be with your man, with your boyfriend.
For sure.
And now he's doing whatever or she's doing whatever because you're not there. Is that what you're saying? That plays a role into it, right?
Absolutely, because now a lot of times in a lot of traditional homes, the woman is kind of the responsible parent for the kids, right? It's not that men are totally disengaged, but mom's doing most of the nurturing work with the children. And she's saying, look, why don't you come alongside me? These your daggone kids too. And it's like the man feels bad because you taking care of the kids and not taking care of me. But she's like, well, these your kids too. What you want me to do? Let them die? Why don't you come alongside me and we do this together? If we do it together, and I think that's one of the keys. We do it together or we get help. And I think it's very important to do it together or get help. Or the man will feel left out. He'll be in the man cave, masturbating, looking at pornography, playing video games. He'll create a new world to compensate for the world that he once had with his wife. And that's very natural. Or he won't be home a lot. And he'll be working extra hours because we got another mouth to feed. And so now he's working 17 hours a day and saying, I'm doing it for y'all. But again, his absence doesn't help the relationship. She still feels lonely. She feels isolated. She wants adult conversation.
Collateral damage, bro.
Yeah,
that's what it is.
She wants adult conversation because he's been around kids all day. He comes home from working all day talking. He's a radio announcer. He's a talk show host. He don't feel like talking when he comes home. He wants to just veg out. Let the TV look at him. And I'm saying they're both are missing each other. You know what? Most relationships suffer for this one reason. They keep missing each other. Schedules, missing each other. Appointments, missing each other. commitments, missing each other. Days go by. It's not that they don't see each other, but they don't connect. That takes time. And guess what? So as soon as they try to connect, here come the 4-year-old. Hey, mommy, can I do this? Can you play? Daddy, can you say you play catch with me? What you gonna do? You know? And it's a real, I think I would guarantee that most marriages go down in quality as soon as they start having children by nature. And it's not intentional. They just don't have a strategy for how to stay connected when this new responsibility shows up.
And
it could be a pet. It could be a business.
Wow.
That's like our baby. This is my baby. When you start a new enterprise, that's my baby. That's my baby. That's my baby. That's why people feel like the job is coming before the family, et cetera. So.
And that's what opens up the gate for the cheating to be able to happen.
Absolutely.
That's where the side
ding, 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 ding.
That's where the side chick or the side dude comes into the picture.
Absolutely.
Now,
their side pieces are people who can identify gaps. They're gap fillers. They replace. They make up for what is missing. That's what they do. You become vulnerable at that point. Children make you vulnerable. Just the introduction of a new responsibility makes you vulnerable at that point. It's a wake-up call. You got kids? Think about this. How many affairs, if I were to, and one of the things I'm going to do at some point, I want to research people who will admit, because most people ain't going to even admit they have. The only way you can get real statistics on infidelity is it has to be 100% anonymous. And even with those numbers, the numbers are staggering, right? But the next thing I want to do with some research is find out how many of you who have children were faithful until the kids came.
wow.
I believe that number's even higher.
That's a stat right there.
Absolutely. We
Wow.
were good, man, till she got pregnant. And she was on bed rest. And man, she was on bed rest, man, for 17 weeks, man.
And I couldn't get none.
I couldn't touch her.
Right. And every 3 days,
If a man,
I need to release. I need to.
From 48 to 72 hours, a man, I have seen nothing to change my mind about it. I learned this probably in the late 1980s. I heard a man say every 48 to 72 hours, a man needs to have a sexual release. And what God has done is, in his graciousness, is given us something called nocturnal dreams. Sometimes it happens while you sleep. You don't even know who that was. You just like, thank you, Lord. Thank you that I got free.
Right.
But how can a man be? They give us free, Lord. Thank you. Thank you. We try to reflect and say, who was that?
Whoever she was.
Yeah, grateful that I bumped up against the lady in Safeway. Whatever it took, you know what I'm saying? So, they ain't ready for us, man.
You know what? That's a whole nother podcast in itself that we should talk about, because I don't think that people really realize that.
Nah. Women think something wrong with us.
Yeah.
But that's a reality. So how can a man be married in a context where his sexual needs are supposed to be met, and he's got a need 2 to 3 times a week to connect orgasmically with his wife, and he's on shutdown for 20 weeks?
Right.
How's he gonna manage that space?
How's he gonna manage that space? Opens up the gate.
And what I'm saying is they have to have conversations that they become creative in how they support each other through that period. That he's got to know that, hey, even because she's gonna feel like, how selfish can you be? I'm laying in this bed carrying your baby, and they don't even know how to talk about it, right? So he just goes into hiding, and at best, maybe he'll be a porn addict. Just virtually do it, which I call virtual infidelity, because you can train yourself to only have non-committed sex. That's when you have an orgasm without connection. So if a man is masturbating, we talk a lot about that in the book. What happens is you can have sex whenever you want with yourself, watching a video with somebody who doesn't expect you to be financially responsible. You don't have to be a good communicator. You only have to be nice. You don't have to treat the person nice. All you do is cue up the video and you're good, right? That's not helping. That's not going to help you be a better husband, a better connector, a better mate. It's so much, man, in this whole conversation. And that's all, again, where the relationship goes from these wonderful people who fell in love to all these things that pull them apart.
Okay, so we have time for 3 more little pieces. Mm-hmm. Now, we want people to read the book, so we don't want to give them too much, but you also talk about the road to recovery and rebuilding and trust, building that trust back in a relationship as well, right?
Right. That's very important. So let's say a marriage has experienced unfaithfulness or infidelity or betrayal, adultery. What do? Well, first of all, it's like shattering a glass door. The pieces are everywhere. I mean, the emotional roller coaster that it takes a person on, man or a woman, who finds out that their spouse has been having sex with somebody else, it's an indescribable pain. It's because it doesn't just hurt. It's one thing for you to hurt another person, but when a part of that hurt means you manipulated the situation to tell this other person, like it's a chapter in there called the phone call. And the call is when a woman calls a wife and says, my name is blank, and I've been in a relationship with your husband for the last 16 months or last 4 years.
The moment of fear.
Right? And then she says, who are you? Well, I'm not going to tell you who I am. That's why I blocked my number. I don't want to talk to you anymore. I just want you to know who you're dealing with. He's not right. He promised me he was going to leave you. I don't believe you. Who is this? Who is this? And then she starts telling personal stuff. Did you have your ovaries removed 2 years ago? When your mother died, has your sister been suicidal? She starts revealing this deeply personal stuff.
How do you know this stuff, girl?
Because he was
Who is this?
Because he was telling her all of that to get sympathy so he can get the draws. You see how deep that is?
Wow.
How do you come back from that?
I don't even know you anymore.
Exactly. You went that
You go
long.
into that in this, man?
Absolutely. It's part of the story.
Wow.
It's part of the story. We ain't playing.
Man, I cannot wait.
I can't tell you how you recover from it because I got a great way out of it. It's a climb.
But you have to. We want people to read the book to do that.
Systemic steps to not only recovering from it, but having a greater marriage than you've ever had. I've seen people come out of this that actually, a woman probably wouldn't do it, but really want to thank the side chick. Thank you for what you did because you blew up my last marriage so I can have a better one. Wow. Doesn't always happen. Let's not get it twisted. Some people, that's it. They get in, they don't recover from it, but they got to get, but I'm saying there is a map. There are tools, there are resources to help people get into it.
I'm glad you mentioned that because, and I alluded to this earlier in the conversation. I was talking about the book, Every Man's Battle.
Yeah.
I didn't know that there were steps that I could take as a man, that there was a system set in place of how I could be able to do that, to become a better man, to not have to deal with seeing, something that I like and then now, I'm chasing this woman down the street, can I get your phone number or I'm on Instagram, DMing all these women, hey girl, you look good. I didn't know that there was a way, there was a systematic lifestyle that I could be able to live to prevent myself from going down that path. It sounds like in this book, you are giving the steps that are needed to be able to overcome these obstacles.
Absolutely, for sure. And there's some challenges to single men in making that decision to become a father and a husband. Because we need that, man. We need guys who are husbands and fathers. We need it. We need it because systemically, historically, we've been removed from the family. And even you go back to slavery days where we were tortured and in front of our own wives and children, and they separated us and then slept with our women, and even up until this day, where censorships or when you talk about government assistance, representatives coming to the house and searching in closets and in behind rooms to make sure there ain't no man in this house because you can't get help if there's a man in the house. We've been eliminated, and systemically it's happened, and I think we're still recovering from that. And so many men are not connected. They're not the head of households in the sense where they're covering a woman and covering the family and raising children that may not even be theirs biologically. We need y'all, man. We need brothers to make a decision. Pick one, man. Just get one. Because I think a lot of guys are addicted to their singleness because there's that
would be me right there, bro.
Yeah.
But I was married before, so
Yeah. So you know what it costs.
Yeah.
But there's an accountability that comes with being married that you don't have to live with when you're single, and there's an attention that comes to being a single man that that a lot of guys don't want to give up, and some of it is that they still want to be able to sleep around or have options.
Right.
But we really need our men on post. We need them on point. We need them on, there's a dearth in male leadership in our households, and it's impacting our kids. It's impacting them. My daughter's a single mom. I don't want her to be walking into her townhouse by herself every night where somebody keeps looking and notice it's just her and that little girl. There needs to be a man over that house. You know what I'm saying? We need y'all, man. I say that to every single man with everything in my heart. I know it must be really cool to be single and be available and be a bachelor and be, all that. But I'm talking about for our people. We need black men to step up and marry somebody. And it may not be because I think so many guys are looking for that perfect woman. But we ain't even the perfect dude.
No, we're not at all.
But they need to be covered, and the kids need to be covered, and so that's my thing on that, man. I'm really burdened by it, and I'm not even hating on single dudes. Like I'm jealous. Like I ain't out there because I could roll too. I could get out there. And, I chose to stay because I had a woman and some children that needed my covering, even though they're adults now, because my children were old enough for me to leave, so to speak. But I think we got to set that example. We got a president that's saying make America great, right? I'm saying let's make marriage great again.
Oh, there you go.
Let's make marriage great again.
Put that on a hat, man.
Put that on a hat. Yeah, let's make marriage great again. Because you know what, Easy? We don't have guys growing up wanting to be husbands or growing up wanting to be fathers necessarily. They're growing up wanting to be artists, wanting to be rich, wanting to be popular, wanting to be athletes. But how many guys you say, man, I want to grow up and be a husband and a father? That's not even on the itinerary. Dudes want to have kids only because they want to see a little replica of themselves around. They don't mind that. But they don't want to be fathers. They want to make something through a fine chick to see how that's going. I want another version of it. They're not opposed necessarily. Or they got chicks saying getting abortions. I'm saying our mentality is so jacked up. We got to address that and saying, how can we raise these boys to say, man, one of the greatest things you can do in your life is be a husband and a father and a household leader and stand on point and be faithful and be counted and be committed till you die.
Absolutely.
That matters.
2 more pieces and then we're out of here. We're here with Pastor Keith Battle. He's the author of the book SIDE CHICKOLOGY, Why Men and Women Cheat, Understanding, Avoiding, and Recovering from Infidelity. This book is chock full of more of what you're hearing right now. I strongly recommend it. It is available wherever you buy books. I would hit up Amazon if I were you. Earlier in the conversation, I shared a little piece with you about the young lady that I was speaking to on Instagram. She's saying, oh, men hurt me, so I'm just with women now. And I asked the question, what, are you trying to say that another woman can't hurt another woman in a lesbian relationship? Really quick, 30 seconds on that.
So it's going to be different, right? Men tend to react to an opportunity for infidelity differently, right? Because we're so visually stimulated. We'll chase something and not even be. A lot of men will be unfaithful to their wives, and they don't mean to hurt anybody. I just was trying to help myself to something. I wasn't trying to hurt my wife, wasn't trying to leave my wife. I actually love my wife, just like what I saw, right? That's not usually going to happen in a lesbian relationship. There's going to be more of an emotional tie to something, unless you have the masculine person in the relationship who's just attracted to somebody else. But to assume that there will be no infidelity in a same gender relationship is foolish. To assume that there'll be less of an opportunity for that to happen, I think is possible. I think that is possible. I think in a same gender relationship with women, you lessen the possibility of infidelity, but you don't eliminate it with any relationship. People cheat. And you know why people cheat? People cheat because at some point, once you get what you wanted, you stop paying attention to it. And a lot of times that's the catalyst that makes the relationship better, because sometimes people don't pay the quality of attention to you that they should until somebody else does.
All right. Final question. What do you say to the individual that may not be Christian or churched?
Yeah.
Someone that may not be very spiritual. Why should they read this book?
The book is actually not a Christian book per se. Although I
You only mentioned the word sin one time.
right, I openly admit in the introduction of the book that I am a Christian, and Christianity has influenced my belief system. But the book is available for anybody. I don't proselytize in the book. I don't try to convert people in the book. In fact, as I told you, I had 2 non-Christian women who are major editors do the editing work on the book. Because I didn't want it to be, I didn't want it to sound like church. Praise the Lord, hallelujah.
Right, you don't want it to be churchy.
I don't bind the devil in there. We talk about relationships, right? So I don't think even when I use biblical references, because what I found was there are a lot of side chick stories in the Bible. And there are a lot of passionate, right?
Bathsheba
was the first side chick, right? Actually, the first side chick was a lady named Hagar.
Okay.
Which was Abraham's side piece that his wife hooked him up with.
Absolutely.
Right?
And then
David was the first porn watcher because he was watching a naked woman take a bath. And he said, go get that, right? So I use stories from a humorous way to connect them with society, with our life. So I think if you can be an atheist, you can be an Islamic person, you can be a person who studies or practices Hinduism. It doesn't matter. Infidelity impacts all of us. And I think the tools in the book they cross generations. One of the reasons why the cover is like it is see, I don't want people say, well, why would you put white people on the cover? I said, because they ain't gonna listen to me if they think this is just for us. Because a lot of European people don't think that black people have the intellect to communicate to it. That's where we get the whole concept of white supremacy. A lot of men don't feel like women have anything to say. We think we're superior. My wife used to say, you think I'm a lower life form. So I wrote the book intentionally to cross cultures, genders, belief systems, economic systems, because everybody is impacted in some way by this issue of cheating. Because somebody in their life has had somebody cheat on them, stab them in the back, went to the prom with their girlfriend, their ex-girlfriend. Everybody had their heart broken in this way at some point in their life, whether you believe in Jesus or not. So I didn't write the book just for the church. I wrote it for the world. And that's who I'm hoping we'll reach with it. And if that turns into people coming to the Lord, I think that's cool. But most of all, I want to see people's relationships healed, marriages healed. And I want to see men and women, single men and women, have a better love for themselves than to mess with somebody else's wife or husband.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you, man. Thanks for having me.
All right. Pastor Keith A. Battle. He is the author of 2 books. The first book, A Second Chance for Grace for the Broken. The book in my hand is called SIDE CHICKOLOGY, Why Men and Women Cheat, Understanding, Avoiding, and Recovering from Infidelity. God bless you and your work. Thank you for your time, and I look forward to reading this book.
Thank you, man. Appreciate you having me.
Thank you so much for tuning in to this edition of the Street Report Podcast. I am Easy Street. You can follow me at Easy Street on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. My official website is EasyStreetShow.com. Want to remind you, the Street Report Podcast is being brought to you by SIDE Multimedia, specializing in producing podcasts just like this. We create social media strategies for companies, and we also produce video ads for social media for all you business owners out there. Our website is SIAMultimedia.com. That's CYA multimedia.com. You can also follow us on Twitter and Instagram at SIA Multimedia, making sure all eyes are on you. Keep that third eye open. One love. Peace. Thanks for rolling with the brother.